All right, I believe we are live. Hey guys, it's Jeremy Kulikowski here, and I'm so excited to just greet you guys. I know it's a little bit late into the new year, but we were just at a different kind of new year than everybody else. We had a little Christmas vacation, and that kind of became a fiasco. Then we're like, let's go to Florida. We were going to adopt a baby, and decided to vacation. It didn't work the way we thought. All this kind of crazy stuff happened, and long story short, I'm doing a Facebook Live now here at the end of January. But I want to talk specifically, just as we come into this new year, what can you guys do to really get that edge? And what I mean is, what can we really help you guys? How can we give you guys some rocket fuel, something that's going to, take your results and supercharge them, maximize them, propel you faster and farther than you ever have before? And one of the biggest misconceptions out there that I want to talk about today that I think is honestly, it's keeping people broke. It's the idea that the thing that's going to really transform my life, the thing that's going to totally solve my problems and all my financial woes and get me from paycheck to paycheck or get me out from underneath just, not being able to get ahead and struggle or whatever it would be, is getting that perfect, solid book. Just the right book. If I could just get the right book from the right person, my whole life is going to be transformed. I just want to tell you guys, first of all, I used to totally be all about that. It was like I couldn't get enough books. And the reality, I'd always be like on the hunt for the next book, the next hack, and I'd like want to learn. And guys, like just being transparent, like I love books. I read books all the time. Books are great, but I just want to talk about why I think a lot of books are just keeping a lot of people broke. And I don't mean the book itself. I just mean the idea that just by reading a book, it's going to transform my entire life and it's going to fix all of my problems. And guys, to be perfectly honest, I've just never seen that happen. I mean, I've seen people get a lot of value from books. I've seen people go, wow, that was really helpful. And on some level, yeah, like maybe it kind of changed my life. But guys, if I look and compare books compared to what we're going to talk about here in a second, it's like, I know that there's, I don't believe in like get rich quick in the sense that like you just sit passively back and like everything happens for you. You don't have to try or exert any energy or force, or time or money, anything like that. I don't believe that. But I do believe that there are ways to fast track. And I guys, again, I'm around a lot of successful people. I know people that literally went from like being broke and homeless or like couch surfing or, single mom, barely surviving, driving Uber or whatever, to having, $1 million companies and things like that. So, and I've seen it happen within like years, like a few years, like going from like nobody to like, oh, they're on the top, Inc. 500 or Forbes, whatever. Like, I mean, just that kind of stuff. I'm surrounded by people like that because I want to surround myself with winners and people that are crushing it in life, in their business and their income and their finances and their career. So that's what I'm surrounding myself with. And if I look at, okay, if I look over the last few years of my life, of their lives, of people that I've just seen are the most successful, what has been that hack? What has been the thing that's been the fast track, that's been the jet fuel, that's been the, oh my gosh, like, an extraordinary amount of growth in a very short period of time. And it is this, guys, it is finding an expert in the area that you want to master. Okay. And please just hang out with me for a little bit. I'm going to unpack this and why this is really critical, because there's a lot of key distinctions here that a lot of people miss. And I want to talk specifically about I'm just going to give you guys like a really basic example of this, because it's really, I believe, like most of you guys watching this, like when you really stop and listen to what I'm about to say, you're like, duh, this is common sense. Why did I not get it? And the reason I'm so passionate about this, guys, is because I grew up broke. Okay. I grew up not having a lot of money. We struggled, we had cars taken away, and, we had, bills that were not paid sometimes. And we had different things that happened. And my parents that are, the best that they could in a lot of ways with what they had, they just didn't have the right people in their lives to show them the way out. And the moment that they did, that's when things did start to change financially, which is really interesting. But it wasn't the books. It was the person behind, the knowledge that was able to hold their hand and walk them through a process that was proven. So I'm really passionate about this because of this, is because I thought that building wealth, getting out of debt, just being successful, I thought that it was like some huge grand mystery. I mean, I really did. And it was so funny. I was just watching a video from one of our clients, and he was talking about, how even just a few years ago, like when he would read about successful people, he was like, well, easy for you. You had you had more opportunities and more, you probably grew up wealthy, or, your parents probably gave you everything, or you probably, grew up in a better neighborhood or a better school or had better genetics or whatever, like, weren't picked on or abused or whatever the heck it was. He's like, good for you, but that's not me. And it was funny. He was talking about, I was listening to this guy. He's like, I couldn't even receive what this guy was saying few years ago because I had a completely different mindset than I do now. And he's like, now I go back and read it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally do this. But here's what was really interesting. Like I said, I like he was one of those people who just looked back and was like, I thought that the way that you get out of debt or build wealth or become successful in your career, your business, things like that, I thought it was just some magic secret formula. I mean, I really did. And I wouldn't have probably said it that way, but I really deep down, like I was kind of a victim in the sense that like I thought it's probably because of, these different opportunities and they had this and, it's easy for them to say. And to some degree, guys, it's kind of true in the sense that, some people had a better head start. Some people, their parents did a better job teaching them. They got a better school. They had a better library around them. I mean, there's some truth to that. But really what it comes down to is what I finally realized where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. This is so simple is all I need to do. And like, really, guys, this I found to be true. And it's like, we tell this to our clients and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Is that you just look at, okay, like what is something, and I'm going to give you a really good example, guys. So hang tight here for a second. But like, what is something that I really want to figure out? What is something that like, and you find somebody who's already figured it out. And ideally they've helped multiple people figure it out. If anything like us, like a ton of people figure it out. And all you got to do is just find a way to get with them, hang out with them, teach everything they know. You do it and you get the same life. And it's that simple. Like it's really, it's not like, it's not like some mystery, like you got to win the lottery. It's this. And I'll give you guys a really good example. So hang tight with me here, guys. You're really going to love this because I was like, oh, I just thought of this way. I hadn't thought of this before, but here's the example. Okay. Let's just say, you guys were like in some remote village, fishing village or something like that. And, you lost your job, and nobody would accept you for anything. And the only job you could get was a fisherman. Or fisherwoman, however you want to say it. All you get was a fishing job. And so you got no equipment, you've got no expertise, you've never fished at all in your life, but your family is starving. They need to find a way to be able to, you need to find a way to be able to get food to them quickly, but you don't just want to survive. You're sick of that. You grew up your whole life struggling, or for years you've been struggling to living check to check. You're like, I'm tired of this. Like, I want a fishing abundance. Like, I don't want to just have my own boat. I want to have a fleet of boats. Like, I want to be able to provide not just for my family, but for my neighbors, my community, for the world. I mean, I want to get out from underneath this. Now, granted, most people that are in survival, they're not thinking that big. They're just trying to pay their bills. I get it. I was right there with you. But ideally, maybe they had like a moment of empowerment and they were feeling good and motivated. Like, it's like, I really want to get this. I'm going to get it done. Right. So they go out first day, they find a boat they can get for real cheap, and they're out there and they got their little stick and their string and, they're trying to get it. And, maybe after a day you manage, with a little, bobby pin or something, you manage to pull one fish into your boat. And then, the next day you end up, you're able to do it again. Maybe you get two bobby pins, you pull two fish into the boat. But then all of a sudden one day you come across this guy and he's got the boat. He's got the exact boat, the perfect boat for catching the fish that you're trying to catch. He's got the exact rod and reel. He's got the exact bait. I mean, he's got all the techniques. He knows he's been doing this for years. And he's been known for helping other people in the village that were struggling and not where they wanted to be able to have their own really successful fishing business and provide not just for their families, things like that, and be able to do it. So like, this is the person that's really going to help you. It's like they spent years going through all the failures and the struggles and helping people and figuring out what are the hacks? How can I help people do this quickly? And you come across this guy and, you're hanging out and you talk, you say, yeah, he's like, well, what are you doing down there? What you got there? It seems like you're trying to, is this a hobby? No, I'm really trying to provide for my family. I'm really trying to fix this. Okay, well, would you like some help? Oh, I would love some help. Great. And he's like, yeah, but obviously, we've got other people that we work with, I've got my own fishing business, but I also will mentor people. I'll take people on and I will do that. Okay, great. But, there's going to be an investment required. Oh, an investment? Yeah, I'm really trying to save money. I've been reading a really good book about fishing. I actually just rented 15 books from the library on fishing. So I'm only halfway through the first book. I'm still learning about, how to, make the right kind of hook and, which bait to use, things like that. But, maybe one day right now I'm just trying to save some money. Okay, have it your way. So a few weeks later, you end up going and, you got you through your first book and you're struggling. You finally able to make your first hook, the right way. And then you get 3 fish the next day and you're like, man, I'm nailing it, saving money. It's just really, I'm getting through it. I got this figured out, and then you go back and you end up, finding a couple more videos. Maybe there you got some YouTube and you're able to, okay, yeah, I actually need to, when the fish goes this way, I need to jerk this way. And, when you're scaling, actually to do it this way, a few months later, you bump into the guy again. and you run into the guy and he's like, hey, the offer still stands. I'm still happy to help you do it. Oh, no, it's okay. I'm saving money. I'm trying to provide. And I think you guys can get where this story goes, but basically the idea is this. Like, if you are trying to be the most, to really get things together and to really be able to become an expert fisherman who's able to provide for their family, but not just that, like really thrive and really get to a place of abundance and having more than enough and being able to change your community, change your family, change your entire, maybe your state, your country, the world, things like that. What's going to give you the better likelihood of success? Is it reading books and watching YouTube videos and free PDFs and just asking your cousin for advice who's not a fisherman and all all of these different things? And granted, I know I started off with books, but it's kind of the same, really. Or would you want to find a way to hang out with that guy all day, every day, until you can suck the life out of his knowledge and get all of the hacks and probably learn in about a week's time what it would have taken you 5 to 10 years on your own to be able to do? What's really saving you money? What's really making, helping you be successful and doing the smart, wise, godly stewarding thing with your money and with the investment? Now, granted, in that circumstance, maybe the guy didn't have anything left, but he could have sold, maybe he could have sold one of his extra vehicles. Maybe he could have done something. The reality is that he had money to be able to invest to get it, but but he didn't want to part with it because he wanted to be able to save money by figuring out on his own. And if you look over the course of the year, you think, what would have happened? Doing it his way, maybe by the end of the year, maybe he would have caught 400, 500, 600 fish. But guys, keep it in context. What if he would have gotten the right reel, the right bait, all the right techniques? He could have, used the guy's boat. He could have done all these ways to be able to hack the system and do that. The guy probably would have caught 40,000 fish, maybe even 400,000 fish, because he could have done in a matter of weeks what it probably would have taken him decades to do on his own. So at the end of the year, if he could have sold all those fish, what's the truth is that he wasn't saving money. He was losing money. He was practically burning money because he was trying to do it the cheap way or the easy way or the non-scary way. Because again, guys, for some people, it is scary to hire a mentor. It is scary to step into having to trust somebody. Maybe you've been burned before. I can't tell how many people we've talked to where it's like, I signed up for this course, or I did this one thing, or this person stiffed me, or I bought this thing online and it was a scam, whatever. I mean, it happens, guys. Some of you guys you've been through traumatic stuff. Maybe your dad left you a terrible example, your mom, or parents, teachers, or other people. They messed you over, they screwed you over. I mean, I know I've been taken advantage of before. I've been taken for a ride. Okay, so I think a lot of us are just naturally skeptical for some of these sorts of things. But the reality is, what if that guy just would have just dropped his skepticism? I mean, what if he would have trusted again? What if he would have set aside, his scarcity goggles and his saving money goggles, and would have looked at the bigger picture and said, you know what, this is going to be a little bit scary. I might have to sell, I might have to sell some of my stuff, some of my valuables. I might have to get rid of everything. But guys, really think about it. What would have really given him the greatest amount of security? Would it have been every single day knowing that I am side by side with the best person in my entire area at fixing this problem, or having a little bit of this extra junk and quote unquote security, but meanwhile your family's starving and you're barely surviving, and eventually you probably go out of business because you can't really afford to sustain life like that. It's not enough. It's barely enough to feed your family, let alone really pay your bills and pay your rent and pay your lights and all those sorts of things. So if you're watching this, the point I'm trying to make, guys, just to serve all of you guys watching this is, and this is honestly, guys, this isn't a plug for me. I mean, obviously I believe in what we do. I believe in mentoring. I believe in coaching, to the millionth degree. Okay. I drink my own Kool-Aid. I've spent, even over the last couple of years, if I look back and tally it all up, I'm like, I know I've spent well over $100,000 on coaching, on mentoring, things like this. But guys, I grew up broke. 8 years ago, I was a janitor. I was broke. I mean, or 9 years ago. I mean, I did not have, all the fancy accolades and the degrees and, parents and everyone giving me it easy. It wasn't the case. But if I look back and if I could think of what is the one thing I'm most proud of and I'm grateful for, it's the fact that I just recognized I was an idiot. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I realized that, I was spending months and years, trying to piece together, how can I do this and get my money under control, and how can I make more and do it the right way, and what kind of marketing and all those kinds of, I tried to piece together all these different ways to be able to really achieve our vision of financial freedom and being able to, for us specifically, it was being at home with my family. It was being able to, travel and be able to help more people, really to be able to change the world, to adopt kids and, buy a house and all this kind of stuff that we wanted to do. And it was like, how are we going to be able to do this? And really the one thing is one day I was like, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm the guy in the village with the bobby pin, the fishing pole out there trying to, catch me a fish and do something. And I realized and one day I just came across, some people on a boat who knew what they were doing better, way, way, way better than I did. And I simply was like, you know what, screw it. Let's do it. You know what? It's unfamiliar. Never done this before. Didn't grow up in an environment where it was done before. But at the end of the day, I know you know what you're talking about. You've got results. I'm just going to do everything you tell me to do, be super coachable. And I'm going to show up and I'm going to just do what you tell me to do. And I'm going to expect the outcome. And guys, that's why where we're at today. And that's how I can go from being a broke, janitor, or someone making $12 an hour, even when I had 3 kids, to being able to have a multi-6-figure business and being able to transform lives all over the country. And I don't say that from a place of arrogance or from a place of, look at me. All I'm trying to do, guys, really, this is from a place of love and service, is just success leaves clues. And if you look at the most successful people, they always surround themselves with people that are winning, the people that are inspiring them, the people that are challenging them, the people that are taking action where you're like, man, I feel like a small fish in a big pond. And I would venture to guess anybody who's watching this, if you don't like where you're at financially, you probably don't feel like that. You probably feel like a big fish in a small pond. You probably feel like the 15-year-old who's still playing in the sandbox surrounded by a bunch of toddlers. And you're like, maybe you're watching this and you're waking up and feel like, I kind of feel like I've outgrown my peer group. And the reality is, guys, if you take, the top 5 people you spend most of your time with and you add up all of their income and divide it by 5, it's probably what you're making or pretty close. And so if you want to be able to get to the next level in your financial life, even, obviously your relationships, your business, your income, your career, all of those sorts of things that ultimately do, when they're in great alignment, they not only create a life that you love, but also transform your income and your financial freedom. Guys, you have to surround yourself with people that are winning. And I mean winning big. I'm talking about people where it's you get around them, you're like, oh man, I thought I was stepping up. Clearly I wasn't. I thought I was playing big. Actually I feel like I'm playing small. And that's what I've done. And the moment I've looked at my peer group and I'm like, you know what, I feel like I'm kind of more committed than the people around me, or other people seem to be content with struggling like this, but I just am not anymore. I had to escape that. I had to run, I had to flee, I had to get out of it and get into a place where there were people with real expertise and real accountability and community. Because guys, when you're just reading books, there's no accountability. The author's not going to jump out of the page and say, "Hey, did you apply things from the challenge at the end of the chapter? Hey, did you make sure you wrote down the exercise that I told you to do? Hey, did you make sure that you paused and spend an hour reflecting on this like we talked to? Or did you make sure you did the action items in the checkbox thing?" You didn't do it. And guys, I've got a whole shelf you can't see down here of books that I've read and things that I've gone through. It's the challenge. I haven't read that half this stuff. Facebook user, I joined the program. It's so fun. I'm not sure who you are. 5 weeks ago, I highly recommend it. Thanks, Jeremy. I'm not sure who you are, but I'm assuming we're working with you right now. We love you too. We don't pay people to leave comments like that. Whoops, sorry about that. So anyways, just going back to, guys, we were, I've got all these books on my shelf and things like this. And at the end of the day, I even just went through a really good book over vacation and it was really inspiring. It did. And it did help me with some things. But the reality is all the challenges and things like that I did, but I didn't do half the challenges. I didn't do half the stuff. There was no accountability. There was no support. The author wasn't leaping out of the page and going, "Hey, I know that for most people, they struggle with this, but I think this might be your problem." That didn't happen. They don't know what's going on in my head. It's just a bunch of cookie cutter advice. And guys, really, if you feel like you got a cookie cutter life, kind of a blah life, kind of it appears like everyone else, 7 out of 10 families living paycheck to paycheck in America, or just most people are, broke, busted, and disgusted in this country, even including in your church. If you're just I feel like my life is kind of cookie cutter and bland, maybe it's because you're getting cookie cutter advice. Just saying. And I did it for most of my life. I was just surrounding myself with cookie cutter, but it was the moment that I got something personalized, where I had somebody from the outside looking in, somebody that has seen, hundreds of cases like mine and knew exactly the shifts and the things I needed to change. And I'm talking about even just shifts that were so tiny, but it was what activated everything inside of me and, propelled me closer to success. It's no different than, again, if you've got a reel, again, if the same guy was out there, you're out there and eventually you upgraded and you're the broke fisherman, but eventually you got yourself a rod and a reel. It was be what happened if there was a tiny little knot in there and it would jam up and you wouldn't do it. And then again, the expert goes, "Oh, after 5 days of fiddling on your own, or maybe 5 weeks of fiddling with it on your own," the guy goes, hey, you notice you got a knot there? Oh my gosh, I didn't see. Yeah, I've got this really good magnifying glass. It's like really hard to see with it. Oh wow, yeah, you just change. Actually, you know what? Here, just take my reel. Just take my reel. Just use this one. Oh my gosh, thank you. You know, while you thought you were saving time or whatever, saving money, whatever. Meanwhile, it's like you lost out on weeks of opportunity, weeks of ability to be able to actually be able to fish. And so, guys, if I can just leave you with anything, because I've seen a lot of chatter and a lot of talk. And, you know, in 2021, people are talking about this book and that book. And again, I read the books, get the books. I'm reading tons of books right now. I got books right here. But guys, the reality is it's like books. If I look back at the books and the things that really transformed my life, it was engaging with experts and people who were the top in their field and had proven results that were able to transform my life and get me where I am today, period. And I continue to surround myself like that. And even with our clients, like if there's something that we're not experts on, you know, let's just say somebody wants to, you know, they come work with us and they get their finances in order. And if they're married, they feel like a powerful team, if, you know, and they're able to really, you know, transform, you know, their ability to be able to get the money under control and start increasing their income, make certain steps or whatever. We get them the clarity with how to do that and all this kind of stuff. Right. And they decide one day, hey, I decided I actually, you know, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. And it's something like, let's just say they want to build an online, you know, marketing business, you know, working with restaurants. Well, I'm not an online marketing restaurant expert, but what I tell them, and I'm just giving you guys a little bit of hack, a little secret here. Okay. A little bit of value here. So we would tell them, it's like, hey, listen, sure. Like, you know, think about reading this book. Okay. Yeah. You can read that book. You know, you can get the $200 course, but hey, listen, I know so-and-so, they're a good friend of mine. I trust them. I've vetted them. I've seen their work. It's like, they've been able to, they can teach you how to do this stuff in weeks. And it's going to take you like 10 years, 20 years to try to figure this out on your own. Because they've got all the bumps, the bruises. They've stepped on all the 10,000 landmines. Like just take their hand, do it and pay them the investment. Yeah, it's going to be an investment. Yeah, it's not going to cost like as much as it would to buy like a little, you know, ebook or something like that, but it's going to be worth it because they're going to be able to help you, you know, significantly, you know, just like I said, guys, it really is like just the rocket fuel. Like it's something where it's going to propel you. It may not be get rich quick, but it is way way faster than doing it alone, you know? And for some people, it is quick. I mean, guys, like you can find people. I mean, you can Google. I mean, there's people that they don't necessarily happen overnight, but like, you know, 3 months, 6 months, a year. It's like if you look at the sustained, you know, results and the commitment, the incessant, the inspired, the intelligent action that people take every day, what it amounts to, it can be pretty quick. And guys, in the 21st century, what's really cool is that we have opportunities at our fingertips that like never before in society to be able to master a skill and market a skill and help people with things that might have taken you, you know, 20 years to be able to make that kind of money. You can do it like in 20 days. You can do it in like 20 months or something like that. I mean, I've seen it happen time and time again. Like if I look at my own life, I'm like, you know, 100 years ago, like it would have been 1,000 times harder to do what we've done today, you know, but I just found the right experts that could help me be able to do that and reach the right people and serve people and add a ton of value to people's lives and really solve major, you know, major life problems. And so guys, like it's the same thing we tell our people where it's like, guys, it's that simple. You know, obviously you have to have the right foundation. You have to have the right mindset. You have to know how to think like successful people, how to, you know, have an emotional home where you're not in anxiety, you're not in overwhelm, you're not in crippling fear and all of the things that really are what stop people and the limiting beliefs and all that kind of stuff that around money and around success and around your abilities, all this kind of stuff. I mean, you got to get that stuff out of the way. You got to have a solid plan for the money coming in, because if you don't, then it doesn't matter how much money you make, it's just going to slip through your fingers. You have to get rid of all the ways that you cope and waste money, all this kind of stuff. I mean, you got to get it managed. And obviously you have to figure out what is this really holding me back from being all in the game, from being committed and obsessed with really getting out of debt or building wealth and using it for the glory of God. You gotta get all that stuff out of the way. That's what we focus on with people. And then from there, when you get all that stuff out of the way, what's amazing is that I'd say at least 90, probably 95% of the time, people self-discover, you know, they're a few weeks in or 5 or 6 weeks in, and they know what they want to do. And if you're watching this deep down, you know what you really want to do, especially when it comes to an income perspective. It's like, I don't care if you went to college and you've been working in a specific, maybe you're a nurse, maybe you're, you know, someone, maybe you're an attorney, maybe you're a school teacher, maybe it's like, deep down, like most people know what they want to do. They know that like this thing doesn't really fit my lifestyle, or I don't want to do this long term. I'd rather do this or that. But you're not really taking the steps to do that. And that's really what is holding people back. It's not the fact that it's your situation is impossible to do that, because people make pivots all the time. It's what is it that's really holding you back from taking the action with confidence and with clarity and with power and getting the results that you want. That's so much of what you got to focus on. But then once you stack on top of that the right strategy for doing some of these things, guys, like it works. Like, and this is why we've been able to help people take them from, so many people just struggling, feeling like they're totally stuck in their finances, like they don't know what to do. They don't know why they can't seem to get beyond where they're at, to being able to feel like they can conquer the world, and there's unlimited abilities, and they have their potential is limitless, and they're actually taking the steps to be able to make it happen. And so if you're watching this, guys, the reality is that I really do believe if all you're going to do is just commit to reading a lot of books in 2021, I'm telling you, I think you're signing up for a recipe to stay broke or struggling or just not where you want to be in your finances in your life. And what I would say, guys, as a recommendation from a place of, guys, this is field tested. This is just like when I work with the most successful people, it's like, this is clearly the pattern of most wealthy people. It is, wealthy people don't waste time. They don't do their own accounting. They don't mow their own lawn. They're not, most wealthy people, again, they're not even doing they're not doing their own dishes. They're not doing their own oil changes. They're not doing all this stuff. And none of those things are inherently bad. But the reality is that people that are wealthy, if you study the mindset of someone who is a millionaire, even a billionaire, they find ways to be able to rock on what they're experts at, focus on their expertise, and pull in experts in other fields very quickly in areas that they don't know a lot about. And then they just leverage their information and really their transformational help that they're able to offer so they can get the result like that versus the result like us, like that. That's really the difference. And so, guys, like, you got to do it incrementally. Obviously, like, I'm not saying go out there and, and like sell your house and sell all of your cars and go like that and go, and go spend $1 million hiring some mentor and something. But I will say, guys, like, the reality is I've seen time and time again, if you will look and you will find, again, someone who is in the specific area that you're seeking to master, that's already done it, help people fix the problem that you fix. All you have to do, and guys, please listen, this is the catch. If there's a catch, there's this, okay? It's not like, again, just sit back, relax, watch some videos, show up to some calls, show up to some trainings, and your life's going to transform. That's not how it's going to work, okay? I'm just keeping it real, people. It's not going to happen like that. The way it's going to happen is you are going to have to show up. You're going to have to be committed. You're going to have to be decisive. You're going to have to be resourceful. You're going to have to be coachable, right? Because, guys, there's going to be challenges. It's going to, even in a coaching program, guys, there's challenges. Our clients have challenges all the time. I have challenges all the time. I have challenges every week. That's just part of being human and being in a world that is not perfect. Okay. You're going to have challenges, but it's a matter, are you willing to take the hand and trust the person through the challenges? Are you willing to get the coaching and reach out when you need help so they can help you work past the challenges and the mental roadblocks keeping you from getting you the outcome that you want? Are you committed to success and being willing to do whatever it takes to be able to win? And that's part of why, even if your guys are watching this, when we offer breakthrough calls with people, we call them a breakthrough call. We don't call them a sales call. And this is why some people get thrown off. Like, I was expecting just a call, like a 30-minute pitch, and then get off the phone. It's like, no, we don't do things like that because we don't think that serves anybody. The reason why we call it a breakthrough call is because I'm going to take some time and figure out, why is this really so important to you? Like, what's really holding you back? Like, how is this, like, what are the things that are keeping you stuck, that have been keeping you maybe in this pattern for decades, that we need to resolve in order to get you on a solid plan? And then beyond that, what's the right plan for you? You're not a cookie cutter, or like fitting in that mold. It's like, you're not just like everybody else. You have unique challenges. It's like, maybe you've got kids with special needs, or maybe you've got this kind of degree, or maybe you've got, this kind of situation, or you're at this age, or you live in this location. I mean, everyone has unique challenges. Everyone has unique situations. Maybe your spouse isn't on board. Maybe they don't want to help. Maybe you never know what their issues are, right? It's like, maybe you're on the verge of bankruptcy. I mean, some people, it's like, it's just not the right fit, or, it's not the right helper. Different people need help with different things. But the reality is that, like, that's why on the call, it's like, we're going to take time getting to those deeper issues, but then ultimately coming up with the right personalized plan for you. And anybody that actually cares about you or gives a crap about you is going to do that. It's the same reason why the coaching company I work with, right? They're doing a lot with helping people with online marketing and being able to, bring, get your business out to the world so you can change lives. And it was really interesting. He was talking about how there's one of their competitors who, they have this whole thing where they have a webinar, and it's like, they basically put you through this webinar. At the end of the webinar, it's like, buy this product for $2,000, and you buy the $2,000 product, but there's no support, there's no accountability, there's no handholding, no one there to really answer your questions or help you with anything. And they're going to upsell you to this thing and then do this thing, whatever. And the reality is, he's like, but they don't tell you. He's like, oh yeah, we're making millions of dollars, but it costs them $900,000 in marketing to make $1 million, because it's like, it wasn't really the kind of model that was serving people, but it was a way to just try to capitalize on people, like just cheap enough to impulse, but not enough to really get a transformation in life. And so the people, even in my, in other industries and peers that I have, whether they're helping with like, we're going to help you, recover from a divorce, or we're going to help you like grow your cleaning company, or we're going to help you be able to do that. Like any kind of coach or consultant person that I've seen really help, they're going to offer a call like that to really get you clarity and really figure out, can I really help this person? What's really holding you back? Because again, it's about transformation. And that's why, like, you need a breakthrough in your life. You need something to interrupt the pattern that's keeping you stuck, and someone to come alongside you and look into the situation and peer into it, just like a doctor would. I mean, if you're going to a cardiologist, this doctor's probably looked at hundreds, if not thousands of hearts, on the little EKG or whatever, the monitors or whatever like that. And they know exactly what to look for. They know exactly the patterns of the heart and of where the veins should be, or the arteries should be, or how quick it should be skipping, if depending upon how much sleep or what you ate today and what kind of caffeine. I mean, they're going to look at all those nuances and be able to figure out for you specifically what could be holding you back, and really what's going to help you have the right kind of healthy heart. That's just what we do in life, guys. But again, for whatever reason, especially for whatever reason, when it comes to your money, your relationships, things like that, it's like a lot of people just think, oh, let me just go back to a book. And again, guys, I'm not hating on books. Go read you some books this year. Like, get some awesome books on relationships and on your finances and on your health and all this kind of stuff. But guys, if you really want like transformational results so that you can do in a matter of weeks what most people can't do in a matter of years or decades, guys, then reach out, especially when hey, Daniel, yeah, it's good to see you. Especially like, in that kind of area, guys. And I would just say, reach out and book a call with us and we'll see what we can do to help. Go to jeremykurlikowski.com/apply. If you're married, you can just go to dreamteammarriage.com. It'll take you to the same link. And guys, go ahead and book a breakthrough call. And we're going to get on the call and we're going to figure out what is really holding you back, what is really keeping you stuck, and what do you need to be able to really get transformational results in your life. If you're tired of just the blah kind of year in and year out, maybe you get out of debt. And then it's like, and then you get $5,000-$10,000 in savings. And then for whatever reason, it goes right back down to zero, or you go right back into debt. Or maybe, it's like you get a raise and you're making more money now than ever, but you're still looking back. You're like, I feel like I'm no better off. I don't really have more in savings. My retirement account's not that much bigger. Or maybe you're in your 50s, maybe in your 60s. And you feel like, I'm investing, I feel like I'm doing the right things, but again, like, I'm not on a track to become a millionaire. And guys, just a heads up, like if you do the math and if you really study how, investing and all this stuff works in terms of like how much you need to live off of when you're in your 50, in your 60s, 70s, 70s. I mean, we could live to be 30, 40 years. Like, being a millionaire is not enough anymore, guys. So that's what cracks me up when people are like, well, I don't really want to be a millionaire. I'm like, well, you kind of need to. Like, for most people, if you're really going to be able to survive, and make that money last for you. So, or maybe again, you're just at a place where you're like, I'm just tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm tired of, for whatever reason, I just can't seem to break this pattern. Guys, it's not because there's anything probably even, there's things wrong with your strategy. Let's keep it real. But I'm just saying, like, that the problem is not that you don't have this book. The problem is usually that, you don't have this person who has an opinion, but they're not an expert. It's the problem is that you never had somebody who knows time and time again what exactly to peer into your life and pull back the curtain or pop the hood and really dig in there and figure out, oh yeah, there's a wrench here, there's a screw loose here, there's things here. And sometimes, guys, it's just minor tweaks, but they're tweaks that will completely transform your life and get you guys on the fast track to success, and helping you guys not only make 2021 the best year of your life, but really being able to completely turn and 180 your entire life when it comes to your quality of your relationships, your finances, your just ability to really feel like you're making an impact for the kingdom and you're being the greatest steward for God as possible, guys. Sometimes the tweaks are small, but it's like you just don't see what you don't see. The inside of the cup cannot read the outside of the jar. And ultimately, guys, you just got to have accountability. You got to have expertise. You got to have people in your life that are that, and just not only that, but a community of people that are committed to winning and supporting you and challenging you and helping you succeed at all costs. So again, if you don't have that, guys, go to the link. We'll drop it here in the comments, and definitely book a call with us if you need some help. And guys, I'm happy to answer some questions here if you have on that. But guys, really, it's that simple. Like, for everybody, like, even if you're watching this and you're like, for whatever reason, you're like, man, financially, like, we're great. I don't need any help with anything. Probably not the case. But even if that was the case, I would say, guys, find an expert, find someone who's helping people win at the thing that you want, and just go pay them. Like, pay the price, take the time. Like, I'm unabashedly, like, people, I think some people were like, oh, it was easy for you. No, it wasn't easy for me. The first time I signed up for a coaching program, it was $11,000, and I wasn't working. And like, I only had like, that was like literally all the money that I had in one of my accounts. And it was like, I put everything on the line, but I showed up. I did what they told me to do. I was super coachable, unlike a lot of the people that I was surrounded with, and I got the result, and I was able to completely transform my life. And then I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And then I just got up leveling and like challenging. And from that day to this day, I have never stopped, and I've never broken the coaching chain connection. I have always said with my coach, I'm like, what do you see in me? What do I need to improve? Do I need to stick around, or should I go somewhere like, hey, this is what I recommend. I trust them. I take their hand. I show up and do the work. We get the outcome, we get the result. And this is why we're at where we're at. And we're able to help a lot of people and change a lot of lives and really be blessed and grateful to enjoy the lifestyle that I prayed for and desperately tried for years to get, but didn't know because I was just hanging around people that quite honestly were just as ignorant as I was and really didn't know how to fix it and were struggling in the same way. So guys, it's that simple. Find someone who can help you fix a problem. Stop just reading books and work with an expert, work with a transformational coach or consultant, somebody that's going to be able to help you guys fix it. And if it's in your finances and you're really trying, especially guys, if you're married and you're watching this, you really want to become that powerful team and you want to get on the same page and you really want to be able to do that, guys. Even if your spouse isn't on the journey with you, plenty of people like that too. That's okay. Even if they get hit by a bus, you still got to learn how to manage your money. You still got to know how to build wealth. You still got to know how to get financial security. That's cool too. You can still book a call. But if you are married and you want to be able to do this together powerfully as well, that's cool too. JeremyKulikowski.com/apply, or go to dreamteammarriage.com and we will help you guys, serve you guys, and give you honest advice. And if we can help you, we'll let you know. If not, we'll let you know that too. But guys, it's really the secret sauce. If I know, like, maybe you're watching this and you're just like, that sounds easy for you to say. It's like, this is what you're telling us to do, is to book a call with an expert. You're the expert. Oh yeah, it makes sense. Like it's hard for me because it's like I have the inner aesthetic too. And it's like, I think stuff like that if you're watching this, but guys, it really is the truth. Like, even if I left this job today and I wanted to go, sell insurance, or if I wanted to go become a real estate agent, like I would go find the top person in that industry and do exactly what they're telling me to do. And I would get the result. Like, it has nothing to do with the fact that like this is our actual business, is helping people in this way. It's just the formula for success. It's really that simple. And there's a lot of people out there just misguiding and misdirecting. And it's like, those people are usually the people that are struggling the most, the ones that are like, reading the books. The people that are wealthy are going to say, hey, talk to this person, work with this person. You're going to notice a pattern. So check that and test me on it, because I know I'm right. And I promise once you guys do and you start hanging out with people that are, on that caliber and on that level, you're going to notice that consistent pattern and theme. Okay. So love you guys. Have an amazing week and let's rock 2021. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Forward this to someone who needs it. And again, if you need help, just reach out, book a call with us, and we'll be happy to serve you. So have an awesome year, an awesome week, and we'll see you guys on the next show in a few days. We'll talk to you soon. God bless. Bye.